So we will have heads-up play with Daniel, Jungleman, Kates. 14 million versus Phil Ivey. Everyone who's been wanting to see him play. 4 million chips. First place is going to get 600,000 US dollars roughly. And there's the trophy.
175.
For the first ever short deck 250K Hong Kong dollar short deck tournament.
Oh.
Really sucks. Should really have some like 250K chips or something. Something.
Ivy never has anything to say back to Jungleman whenever Jungleman talks, I've noticed, which is funny. Jungleman.
150.
How much?
150.
It's a very interesting dynamic in Heads Up because it's going to be the cutoff in button only, but the button is going to have position throughout the hand. It seems like a funny situation. I'm curious to see how this plays out. Flop is board is ace 9 8 king. That's all. We are playing short deck hold'em. The 2s through 5s have been removed, so only 36 cards in this deck. I'd be betting his straight there.
500.
A flush beats a full house in this game. Everything else is normal. Jungleman just has a pair of 8s.
We saw Jungleman go into the tank for a long time earlier against Ivy on the river with pocket queens.
This would be extra heroic.
Have that.
Just a pair of 8s.
Have that.
Well, I mean, the fact that Jungleman has a jack, I think, is what's making him more likely to call. It makes it less likely that Phil Ivey has either a straight with queen jack, and also it makes it less likely Phil Ivey would have a straight with jack 7. So he does make the call.
And he's going to be shown the nuts.
Yeah, Ivy just hasn't really been messing around too much.
That's a pretty loose call, pair of 8s. Can't sometimes your opponent be bluffing with a better hand?
Yeah, it's entirely possible.
Yeah. It shows you queen 8. Or like, you know, jack 9. So I think maybe not an ideal play, but Ivy chips up there.
This is fine.
So it's going to be heads up. Blinds are 50, 100,000. Well, look at this. Jungleman's got a flush draw. 39% chance to hit his flush draw. This is higher than regular no limit hold'em because of the deuces through 5s being removed.
He does also have a couple of runner straight possibilities.
Yep. So he's gonna, he raised pre-flop. He should continuation bet here. He's gonna get Ivy to fold a lot of better hands. But he actually checks, so he's playing a bit passively. Maybe trying to disguise his flush draw potential. And I think Ivy just pushed out 500K. 500. I think Ivy expects Jungleman to bet most aces on the flop. So he thinks his ace 8 is good here.
Yeah, so we've seen Ivy when the game was 3-handed or more, often check backhands like this on the flop.
Check raise all in from Jungleman. And now Ivy's need to think, this is a tough spot for Ivy. He has ace no kicker. Ace 8 is actually one of the worst kickers in the game because ace 7 would be the other one. There is no 5s, 4s, 3s, and 2s. He needs to put Jungleman on a flush draw to make this call. And pretty much exactly a flush draw because King Queen and King 10 and Queen 10 are not going to check raise all in here if they don't have a flush draw with it. It would just be too few outs. Now he's thinking, would Jungleman really shove with pocket aces on his flop? Probably not, right? Ace 6, possible, but would he raise pre-flop? I'm not sure. Ace Jack, I think is
Yeah,
possible.
I think that's the biggest thing for Ivy to think about here is it makes the most sense for Jungle Man to play the hands he wants to play like this for value would be 2-pair. And is he really raising Jack 6 pre-flop? Very, very unlikely. He'd probably fold that hand. Is he raising Ace 6? That's a possibility. He's probably raising the suited combos of Ace 6 a decent amount. And it looks like Ivy does let it go.
And Jungle Man just muscling his way and winning that pot. It did look like a flush draw. It was a flush draw, but Ivy didn't figure it out.
Yeah, I think Ivy was just expecting to be shown Ace Jack a decent amount. Also, possibly a hand like Ace King.
It's possible, yeah. And when you look at your hand, you're like, well, if I make this call and he doesn't have a flush draw, pretty much lost the tournament, right? Like,
Right.
Pretty much exactly. So it's a tough one, but it is heads up. So you just need to try and make the right decision as often as possible. There's no pay jumps anymore. You just got to win now.
120 blind.
This cash game that they're playing on the side, they're doing a kind of like a deuce 7 bounty, where if you win with Jack 6 offsuit or 7-6 offsuit, you win the pot. So it's safe to say those hands suck.
I think the bounty also applies to the suited combos.
I'm not sure actually. Make those hands playable. Well, Jungle Man does not have anything here. And check, check. Ivy turns trip 10s. Don't think. Well, Jungle Man's been taking stabs at these check pots, so he actually is going to lose some chips here. 200,000.
But 200.
Ivy's not going away here with ace 10. Makes the call. And actually, one of Jungle Man's stabs not working out for him. He's 0% to win this pot. And the 6 of spades brings a flush on the river. This could sometimes get Jungle Man in trouble just trying to represent a flush.
Well, he is reaching for chips.
He's trying to move him off of. He's trying to move Ivy off of like Queen Jack, or any kind of Queen type hand, or like a weak King. So Jungle Man, sometimes when you bet with no equity and then like a card that looks like a good bluffing card comes, you're like, oh, I just got to bluff at this because I just got 9 high. It's not going to work this time. I mean, those look like, that looks like a man thinking about what to bet, not a guy thinking about checking. He's convinced that he needs to make a bluff here. So he's going for big. He's going over bet.
Wow.
He's going 1 million, no, 950,000 here.
975.
I mean, Ivy's playing heads up. He blocks the nut flush. So when someone tries to make, when you're holding a nut flush card and they're betting this huge, it kind of smells like a bluff a little bit more, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. The question, though, is
He's going to call.
for Phil Ivey, do you just call or do you perhaps consider shoving?
I think your hand is just so strong.
I mean, the question is, would Jungle Man overbet a straight here or a lower flush? And if he did, would he fold? I don't think he would really overbet.
It's very hard for him to have a
straight.
straight. Yeah, a straight's very unlikely.
So I think that Ivy is going to go ahead and make the call. Yeah, he does.
You win.
So Jungle Man probably would not have fired that river if the spade didn't come off, but just felt like, I took a stab with 9-6 high. I need to go for it. So one of Phil Ivy's biggest pots recently against this in his heads-up match, chipping up to 5 million. He's playing really solid. Jungle Man, is he going to raise this time? I think he is. I think he feels like these small pots
Time 25.
aren't really going his way, so he's going to start raising some of these hands.
We saw him raise earlier with the King 10 off. Ivy happened to have Ace King that time and went all in.
But look, Ivy still calls him with Jack 8 offsuit. Jack 8 offsuit isn't a great hand, right, in this game, but still calling. He's got position. That's the thing. In heads up, you got to raise bigger because the guy on the button's still going to call you wide. I mean, Jungle Man did make it pretty big. Doesn't matter, though.
525.
Jungle Man with mid-pair. It's a tricky spot with mid-pair when you're out of position, especially when it's a drawy board. A lot of people like to play defense and just check to kind of see what happens. So check, check. Turn is a jack, so Ivy takes the lead, but Jungle Man still has a 46% chance to win this pot. He's got a lot of outs. Probably doesn't love his hand.
Yeah, Jungle Man's hand now behind, but picks up some visibility.
And actually, if he bets, Ivy probably needs to fold his hand, given he has an 8 kicker. A very bad straight draw. Let's see what he bets. No, he does check, so Ivy should just probably gonna check here. And Ivy with 2 pair now on the river. Jungle Man, I think, is just gonna check fold here. Seems unlikely for him to bet all of a sudden. I don't think he thinks his 10 is good that often, but it's not representing too much either. Just check, check, check. I raise pre-flop. It's hard to have a 9 when you're the pre-flop raiser. I think Jungle Man does realize that he doesn't have the best hand here too often, so he's actually going to take a stab here. I think he's going... He's probably going to get called. It's like a 425,000 chip bet. Yeah, it's a small bet. Jungle Man's targeting like Jack 9. Probably would fold here. Jack King type hands. I think Ivy's just gonna side call with Jack 8. Just thinking like, well, I beat enough hands here. Maybe Jungle Man's just making a stab here. I'd like to see Ivy call here. But, you know, take your time, make sure you think it through.
Yeah, it's a pretty small bet. I can't imagine that Ivy is going to fold.
It's a confusing one here, John.
I mean, he doesn't like his 2 pairs. It's a weak 2 pair. He's confused. I think he's just going to side call. When you're confused, usually you just go side call. 375. Yep, there we go.
I'm listening like an idiot. I have a pair of 10s. I played this so badly.
A nice pot for Ivy. He's grinded up. He's up to 8 million chips.
Jungle Man still struggling to win a pot against Ivy in this heads-up match. The past 45 minutes of this match has really gone Ivy's way.
Call.
Ivy just checking Jack Queen instead of raising there.
Yeah, just playing these small pots. And they both flop a piece. Jungle Man with a straight draw actually has 55% equity, but 38% to win the pot outright. As you can see, it's been broken down to win percentage, tie percentage. Jungle Man makes it straight on the turn. Now he's got a big lock on his hand. Should he bet again or check? Well, he's going to opt to bet. Now the question from Ivy's point of view, do you call here with Queen Jack? It's a tough spot.
Yeah, I guess it depends on what size Jungle Man bets. I would fold to a pot size bet. I'd probably call a half pot bet.
I think he's going to go right about half, 375.
475.
475.
Yes, 475.
Yeah, I think facing this bet here, I would fold Ivy's hand.
Well, you can't fault Ivy if he does make the call. It is top pair. He's got extra. He's got a straight draw in case he is behind. So he is going to make the call. It is heads up poker. River is a jack.
Check. Check, showdown.
That is straight.
Jungle Man's going to win this pop a straight. Just being a bit cautious when the board paired. It's hard for someone to call you with worse on the turn and river without at least a straight.
Yeah, I think Jungle Man's river check is standard there.
So Ivy being aggressive, 10-8 suited right now.
Yeah, we haven't seen this too much from Phil
450 on
Ivy.
top.
Actually,
610.
this is pretty bad for Jungle Man because even though he's got the best hand, one of his eights is blocked.
Yeah, if I were Jungle Man here, I'd actually probably fold the pocket eights. I mean, Ivy has just been so tight on his button. I think I probably would have just limp folded eights.
Jungle Man doesn't agree with you. He's going to try to flop a set. But yeah, if you don't flop a set with these little pairs, you usually lose the pot. And again, look at this board. How can you continue? Ivy's got 59%, but
Well, this is just a great flop for Phil Ivy's hand here. He's double gutted and he's got a backdoor club draw.
he's going to bet and take this one down with the worst hand. Jungle Man.
This is an action board in short deck because there are so many different up and down straight draw or double straight draw possibilities.
Jungle Man still getting grinded down slowly. They might be pretty close to even in chips now. Maybe around 55 to 45%. Aces and Queen Jack offsuit. Ivy just calls. If Jungle Man goes aggressive here pre-flop, he's going to lose more chips. Look at this. Jungle Man, bad timing right now.
650.
500,000.
660.
Ivy isn't going to shove with
No.
this stack. No. It's going to make it like, what,
660.
2 million, 1.8 million?
660.
Yeah, I think Ivy will make it more than 2 million.
Let's see what he does. Yeah, he's re-raising here.
There it is, about 2.3.
Fold.
Quick fold. Jungle Man. Jungle Man. Ivy just slowly chipping away. Jungle Man calls with pocket eights. Ivy's probably going to raise with T-Jack suited.
660.
660,000 total.
Well, Jungle Man still not
Trying to hit
folding the pocket eights.
Trying to hit that set. I mean, if he hits the set, could be a tournament-ending hand. So Ivy flops 2 overs and straight draw.
Another great flop for Phil Ivy here.
But even though Ivy's unpaired, he's 74% chance to win this pot, given that all the 2s and 5s have been removed from the deck. So actually, Jungle Man with the best hand pair currently on the flop is actually behind.
Bet. Fold.
Jungle Man just getting chipped down. They should be very close. Actually, I think Ivy has a slight lead now. Chips by like 200,000 chips.
Jungle Man just visibly frustrated.
A little bit more. Too much more. Yeah.
And all of a sudden, Phil Ivy is the new table chip leader.
I actually have no idea if they know they put the trophy on the table.
We'll be fixing audio, guys. Don't worry. Patience.
1,000 more.
Huh?
All right, looks like everything's going smoothly again. So Jungle Man's got Queen 9. He's going to take a stab here. Ivy with Pocket Kings. I think he's going to call here. He is. Ivy is just grinding Jungle Man down so hard right now. Let's see if Jungle Man can bail it out on the river. He needs a 6 or a jack. Queen's not going to do it. Should go check, check.
Big pair. Big pair? This big?
Big pair. Jungle Man in second place. Ivy hasn't really done that crazy of a plays, but he's gone from 4 million to 10 million. He's now the chip leader.
Well, earlier, Jungle Man was speaking with another player about a hand that they had played, and he said he was reluctant to tell the player what he had because Ivy was at the table, and Ivy responded, well, I'm going to know pretty soon anyway. So it seems like maybe Ivy is being at least fed information.
Or there's a TV just out of vision. Ivy's betting. Jungle Man. He's got Jack 7 high. I think he's going to float here. He's getting a little bit suspicious of Ivy just betting every dry flop. Ivy actually has a pair of 10s. Turn is an 8. It's going to go check, check on the turn.
Yeah, Jungle Man picking a time to float when he has backdoor straight draw and backdoor flush draw here.
He is suspicious. He's actually going to bet this turn on the paired board. Not a common strategy you'll see. Usually a lot of people like to wait till the river to make a stab here, but he's going to go for the bet now. Half pot, 325. And Ivy here, pocket 10s. If he can sniff out that he's got some floats here, if he calls, it's very unlikely Jungle Man's going to fire river. So he's going to call. Nice call by Ivy.
Yeah, very nice call here by Phil Ivy.
And Jungle Man here is now like in a tough spot. There's a 6. Jungle Man. I think Jungle Man's going to check. Unless he has a strong read that Ivy does not have an ace here. But to be fair, Ivy has bet the flop with and without an ace on these dry boards. You know, there's a flop when Ivy had ace 9 on ace, ace 9. He bet. Or ace 9, 9. Jungle Man's going for the bet. He's going for his read that Ivy would not bet an ace on this flop. So he's going to bet very big here.
Wow, about the size of the pot.
1,075,000.
Can Ivy figure this out? No, I don't think Ivy puts Jungle Man on an 8. Most people don't really go this thin with bottom boat. The funny thing is, here's the good point. I just realized Jungle Man can have a flush. And that's the big thing. I don't think Jungle Man would bet if the flush didn't get there because Ivy could have an ace. Yeah, he lets it go, right? There we go. So nice play by Jungle Man. And this dynamic only happens in short deck just because a flush beats a full house. This would be an insane bluff if the flush didn't beat the full house.
Huh? What? Nothing. Would you want to got me that time? probably show it. I'd probably show it.
I think Jungle Man's feeling good that he finally got a hand through. Ivy was a bit suspicious, actually.
After Jungle Man wins that pot, these two players are back to being very close in chip stacks here. Ivy with just a couple 100,000 more chips than Jungle Man.
King 9-6 Rainbow. So, generally speaking, they have been checking their mid pairs and their over pairs that became mid pairs as well. Is Jungle Man going to keep firing here? No, he just checked, so he's going to go along with that strategy. And Ivy's been checking down his mid pairs and check bottom pairs a lot. Ivy has a pair and a straight draw and actually has 46% chance to win. And he got there on a river. Jungle Man's going to check again, and Ivy's going to bet. Question is, can Jungle Man pick off a bluff? Every time this has happened, check, 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 and check, and Ivy has bet. Ivy has been showing down the goods lately. I don't know why. I don't think Jungle Man will bet here. It just seems really weird that he would bet all of a sudden. But maybe he's like he's really mixing up his play, I guess, because he was not taking these lines with these pairs. It just seems very. I don't know. Is this like a blocker bet? It's very weird.
No, I think he's betting for value.
Yeah, it's no good.
I don't think he expects Ivy to ever have a king. Ivy could certainly have a 9.
I mean,
But
I guess what's he trying to get called by? Pocket 10s? An 8?
right, an 8.
6 is unlikely, given it's a pre-flop raise, right? So.
Yeah, I think an 8
Seems
or a
like
6 is what Jungle Man was looking for.
Seems like a thin
Value
value bet, and paid off for Ivy because he's chipping up again. Pocket Kings and Ace 10. Okay, well, Jungle Man's going to raise, and the way Ivy has been playing, he's going to limp call here of Ace 10. Jungle Man a little too deep to just ship it in.
No way Ivy's folding here with the how often Jungle Man's been raising.
600.
Now with the blinds up, these pots are getting big. Already 1.6 million in the pot.
Wow.
Look at that flop.
Quad Kings.
What's Jungle Man gonna do?
Jungle Man's
He
confused.
has to check, right?
Well, because usually you're betting hoping your opponent has trip kings, but you're holding both of the kings, so he's still going to bet. He's trying to entice him with a small bet, 500,000. Trying to get Ivy to call just Ace 10 high. Will Ivy make a mistake? And nice fold
Wow.
by Ivy.
Ivy lets it go.
Come on, Jungle Man, just show the kings. He's frustrated. This heads-up match started with Daniel Cates with 14 million chips. Or he at least had 14 million chips at one point to 4 million. Now it's a very close match. Ivy trying to trap with the pocket kings didn't work. Just gonna have to grind out a small pot. And Ivy just insta-checks. Let's Jungle Man get there. Just checking, checking, checking. Jungle Man going to find a value bet here with the 2 pair.
350.
Now Ivy, pocket kings here. Probably feels like he didn't put any chips in pocket kings. Really wants to make a call, just like. That's hard. He doesn't beat too much.
Looks like he's putting together raising chips. Yeah, he's going to use his king as his blockers to the nut straight, and he's raising huge.
Yeah. I think
Wow,
insta-fold
and
by Jungle Man.
lets it go, and another well-timed bluff by Phil Ivey there.
Look, see, that's what I'm saying. Ivy's definitely adjusting. He knows that Jungle Man's been watching the stream probably and sees like, oh, I'm just playing pretty solid. Now it's about that time where it's time to make some moves, and it's going to get so much credit because Jungle Man's not going to know for like 30 minutes.
Yeah, why not?
I mean,
Maybe you got queen 9.
Huh?
Maybe you got queen 9.
Did not have queen 9.
You didn't?
Had jack shit.
we're both playing the same hand here.
I was value betting.
Are you betting what?
2 pair.
Oh.
What'd you have?
What do you think I had?
Probably had it if I folded.
Big pair.
Ivey's happy about this one.
Yeah, Ivy's happy. Like the bluff he made, just snap went through.
Big pairs.
You do like your big pairs.
400.
It's actually 1.2 million in this pot. Jungle Man
Wow.
overbets 2 million to 1.2 million. Trying to represent a big hand here.
Only have a pair of 7s, but it's not fold.
What's that? Huh?
We got 2 10s.
You had 10s?
No, what you have?
I did not have 2 10s.
This conversation's going nowhere.
$700.
700,000.
Call.
Ivy's gonna take a flop in position.
Can you please check that?
Oh, yeah.
Both players with middle pair here.
Yeah, middle pair. Generally speaking, this has gone check-check almost always on the flop. Unless there's a change in strategy all of a sudden, but Jungle Man's,
Check.
yeah, he's going to check.
Yes, I mean, especially on this board with so many different straight draws.
So they both check, and Jungle Man is behind, but he's got a straight draw. He can hit a jack or a 6 to make a straight. 39% of the time he'll win some, at least get his chips back. 29% to win outright. It's a tough spot. It's very confusing on whether you should bet or check here with 10-8. I don't even think Jungle Man knows.
Yeah, we've seen Jungle Man betting in spots like this generally.
These boards, like, you just don't know. Did my opponent improve, or does he have like one pair? I mean, Ivy's not going to fold to this bet because he's got the straight draw. Or 2 pair, I mean, excuse me. So that's a big bet. About pot size, 1,175,000. I think with 2 pair of Ivy. It's a weak 2 pair, so he's not feeling like, he doesn't feel that Jungle Man is betting like 1 pair here very often. For value, like king, queen. Is he really checking the flop to pot on turn? Maybe, but maybe a little bit less likely. So Ivy's kind of got a bluff catcher.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Ivy should be making this call. I think all the hands that Ivy's behind, Jungle Man would bet on the flop.
I don't think Ivy's going to fold. Just want to take some time to analyze the situation. It's probably almost certainly just going to call. Don't think there's any reason to raise here. Actually shoves though.
Wow.
So he's got some read that Jungle Man just never has a big hand.
Yeah, I'm surprised by that.
He's trying to,
Turn for that.
I wonder if he's just doing that to protect his equity.
yeah, pretty much. It has to be. There's no other reason to go all in than to protect your equity. There are a ton of bad river cards where Ivy has no idea if he's going to get bluffed off his hand. You know, like a queen.
So,
Jack.
so what Ivy's thinking here is Jungle Man would not have raised 6-8 preflop.
Which is
If he
probably true.
had Jack 8, he likely would not have raised preflop either, and he
Probably
probably would have bet the flop. And if
King
he
Jack.
had King Jack, it's very likely he would have bet the flop.
Yeah.
Yeah, I played that one great. Can we see a river?
Can we see a river? Are they actually going to show him?
I asked already. I don't think I can do that. I've asked like 5 times. No 0.
Swear to God, I misplay every fucking turn today. It looked like I had nothing, and I had nothing.
So Ivy snap raising Queen Jack of clubs.
7
I think
total?
we'll see Jungle Man fold this hand.
700.
Huh?
He might, but you know, he's been losing a lot of pots lately. I don't think he wants to fold. No, he's
Yeah.
calling. So Jungle Man is. This is a tough hand to play. Ace 7 suited. You flop a pair of aces, you don't know where you're at. Your main thing you want with Ace 7 suited is to flop a flush draw. And we know that's hard to do. Even that's hard to do in this
I
game.
mean, even when you flop a straight with this hand, you don't really know where you're at. Well, speaking of which, there's a flush draw.
Ivy with mid pair and a straight draw.
But look,
57%.
Jungle's effective equity is still only 41%. That just shows you
Yeah.
how rare
Check.
flushes come in this game relative to no limit hold'em. And the reason why is because there's so few diamonds left in the deck.
So turn, check. Ivy turns the straight. Jungle Man didn't try to stab at this one.
Like, there are only 4 diamonds left in the deck right now.
Nice bet from Ivy. He's going to bet 1 million. Now, Jungle Man's probably thinking, man, I can hit a queen, I can hit a diamond. So he has 25% equity, but he's going to let this one go, I think.
No
He's
way.
not?
No way he's folding now. Jungle Man's going to call here on the turn, in my opinion, and then he's going to have some decisions to make if he wants to lead any rivers.
It's tough out of position. I mean, it does seem like he wants to continue. He does have the nut flush draw.
Yeah, Jungle Man will not be
So is he
folding.
going to, like, lead on spades?
All in?
All
Wow,
in.
he shoves all in.
Okay, call.
That
Oh.
seems like a misstep.
Yeah.
Ivy calls.
The base queen?
No.
That seems like a big misstep. Doesn't Ivy have a queen here way too often?
Wow.
I don't know why. This is Jungle Man's on his tournament life here.
Well, he's got 25% equity.
Needs to hit a queen to chop. It's one more card to go, or Ivy's going to be the champion.
River
over.
card is a 6, and that is it. Phil Ivy is the winner of the opening event of the Triton Super High Roller Series. And Randy, he just put on a clinic of how to play a heads up, close out a tournament. Phil Ivy composed the entire time. What do you think about the way that these two players played?
They both played great. I mean, Jungle Man looks disappointed. Ivy played very excellent. He played solid throughout. And in heads up, we saw why he's known to be one of the best players out in the game. Jungle Man just didn't work out during the heads up play. Played excellent until he got to heads up. Didn't play bad in heads up. Just got beat a little bit.
Yeah, so Phil Ivy is the winner. He will take home 4.75 million Hong Kong dollars, which is about 600,000 US dollars. And perhaps even more importantly to Phil, he is the champion of the first short deck live tournament.
4.7 million Hong Kong dollars. It's about 600,000 US. Jungle Man's got to be happy though. 3.2 million, still a excellent result. The other players out there, Pogorski, Kuhn, Rakimov, Leo, Sauce, Waikin Yong, and Smirnov made the money. So it's going to be a lot of good high stakes action this week.
Yeah, and
fun.
now these two players are looking to jump into the cash game, the short deck cash game here.
Well, there is some short deck cash games running all week, I'm sure. There is also a 6 max tournament running. So they may jump into that as well.